night falls in Miami, and the Fish are still buzzing about another walk-off. Yesterday, Christian Yelich sent the Phillies packing. The Marlins took the series. Next up, the Brewers. Hank the Dog, Carlos Gomez, Ryan Braun, and Tom Kohler gets first shot. It's a three-gamer with Milwaukee, and it's tonight. In Miami tonight, yes, it is a three-gamer, and yes, it starts tonight on what is a glorious night. In fact, so much so that the roof is wide open tonight as the Brewers, the first place Milwaukee Brewers, and the Marlins meet. You saw the roof is open. Gene Segura, Marcell Ozuna, Christian Yelich, those two of the stars, they get a look at Marco Estrada, and it's Tom Kohler who counters for the Fish. Hi, everybody. Rich Waltz along with Tommy Hunt. The roof is open. It's a gorgeous night, and this should be a terrific series. Two surprise teams. I think a lot of people in baseball surprised at the start that the Brewers have had. They're still in first place in the Central, and the Marlins come in a couple games over 500. They keep surprising people.
You know, in that Central division before the season started, a lot of people talking about the Cardinals, of course, the Cincinnati Reds. I think Milwaukee flying a little bit under the radar, but they have a very good team, a solid rotation.
The Marlins at home, there's something magical about it. Not only the best record in baseball, but now the Marlins are winning in walk-off fashion with regularity.
How about that? 5 walk-off wins this year. Christian Yelich was the hero in the ballgame yesterday. The 22-year-old, his first ever walk-off base hit. Over the last 2 games, Yelich now is 4 for 11. A little bit of a celebration. He loved it. So did Mike Redmond and the Marlins.
In a rotation, how do you get a 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5? Is it where they start or how they pitch? Because if it's how they pitch, Tom Kohler might be your number 1.
You know, without Jose Fernandez, I've never been a fan of pigeonholing guys into categories. And Tom Kohler is not a category. He's the best pitcher the Marlins have right now, the way he's pitched. There's his outing against San Francisco. He was tremendous. How about 2 earned runs or less in 7 of his 9 starts? He goes up against Marco Estrada, 5th year with the Brewers. The 30-year-old has a pretty good changeup and curveball, but he has allowed 12 home runs this year.
That our Chevron pitching matchup. All of a sudden, Marcell Ozuna is hot. Oh, so hot. Another big home run in yesterday's game. place Brewers. Follow on along. A great weekend of baseball here at Marlins Park. Game 1 of a 3-game set. Let's go out to center field. Craig Minervini and Preston Wilson. Gents.
Rich, thank you very much. On this holiday weekend, we say hello, and I want to talk about a guy who's come alive here on the homestand. It's funny how months can go, Preston. Nothing went right for Marcell Ozuna into most of May here as he hits this final week or so on fire with a great homestand.
Marcell Ozuna went through one of those phases where he was behind the fastball, in front of the curveball, and as any hitter knows, that's not a good place to be. But he has hit well at home, 310 here at home. And the surprising thing is against right-handed pitching, he's drove in 21 runs against right-handed pitching this year. So you see back-to-back nights, a home run, that's a grand slam there.
First one of his career.
I mean, that's a good base right there. That's a big guy who they're always comparing to a Raul Mondesi body type, arm strength, speed, and he showed some power right there to add to that.
Plays with some great energy, too, the big smile, and then he had the 2-run shot in the game yesterday, and here he is now feeling pretty good about things. By the way, those 30 RBIs now has him ranked 4th among all outfielders in RBIs. Nicely done for Marcell Ozuna. What about playing this Brewer team? Haven't played as well in May. However, they're potent. Ryan Braun out tonight. They hope to get him back in tomorrow. Gallardo doesn't look like he's going to go Sunday either. Could be 2 good breaks for the Marlins there.
Well, it could be, and I'll tell you what, the league is taking notice that how well the Miami Marlins are playing in this ballpark. So now teams aren't coming here thinking if we can get a series. They're coming thinking about how they're going to scratch out and match up with this team in this ballpark.
All right, Braun bothered by a right oblique soreness. Ron Renicky said he could be available off the bench, and he hopes to get him in the lineup tomorrow and try to get 9 innings out of him. We got baseball coming up here. It's the Marlins and the Brewers, game 1 of this 3-game series. We don't have to deal with Bernie Brewer, thankfully, at home. Should be a good matchup tonight. Marco Estrada, 10th start, 3-2. Tom Kohler, 10th start, 4-3. Next.
Sports Florida is brought to you by Toyota. Let's go places. By AT&T Uverse TV. Check availability 1-800-PICK-AT&T. Rethink possible. By Checkers. Visit your local Checkers for the $2 shrimp and fries box. And by your South Florida Honda dealers and sfhondadealers.com. Milwaukee and Miami. Milwaukee a first-place team, Miami a second-place team. The Marlins right now sit in second place in the National League East. And Tom Kohler, the big salad, getting the start. Kohler's already worked up quite a sweat. The roof is open. It's not overly hot in the ballpark, but it is a little warmer than usual. But a terrific night, and glad that the roof is open and ready to go, Marlins and Brewers.
Well, it's just a beautiful night, and it's one of the reasons the roof is open. And, you know, for Tom Kohler, he's coming off that tremendous start against San Francisco. 7 innings, gave up just 4 hits and no runs. And by the way, the roof has been open now for the 9th time this season.
Gene Segura climbs in. Tom Kohler climbs up on the mound. Pitch a penny, ready to bring you the first pitch. Milwaukee at 28-20. The Marlins coming off a thrilling walk-off win yesterday in a series win over the Phillies. And Kohler misses outside to Segura, who's in the leadoff spot. Carlos Gomez has been in the leadoff spot most of the way for Milwaukee, but he's hitting cleanup in the absence of Ryan Braun, as Ron Renicky has had to shuffle his lineup a little bit. And Segura, the hard-hitting shortstop, is followed by Scooter Gennett and Jonathan Lucroy. Kohler misses away with a fastball.
Yeah, Segura hit leadoff quite a bit last year, but he's not the prototypical leadoff guy because he's a free swinger. Doesn't take a lot of walks, but terrific year last year. Hit 294 in his 146 games.
Smacks that one right center. Ozuna comes on and it falls for a base hit. And the Brewers shortstop is aboard. So Ryan Braun is out tonight. He's not on the disabled list. So here's that Brewer lineup. Segura, Scooter Gennett out of Sarasota is in the 2 spot. Jonathan Lucroy is having a terrific year. Carlos Gomez hits cleanup. Free swinging Mark Reynolds has 9 home runs already. He's at 3rd. Lyle Overbay back to the future for the Brewers. Chris Davis in left, Logan Schaefer in right, Marco Estrada will do the pitching, and J.M. Lexus brings you the Brewers starting lineup. And here is Gennett, 24-year-old out of Sarasota High School.
Segura will run. He had 44 stolen bases last year. He has 9 this year, but he's been caught 6 times.
The Brewers have run a lot the last 2 seasons. And as you pointed out, they're running this year, but just like Segura, their success rate is not real good. There goes Segura, pitches up. Saltalamakia's throw is up the line, and Segura headed to 3rd. The throw is not in time. Ball rolls away. Kohler is there, and all of a sudden, in the blink of an eye, the Brewers have Gene Segura at 3rd and nobody out. And that did not go well for Miami.
Well, it'll be a stolen base and then a throwing error on Saltalamakia. He had a good pitch to throw. It was up, it was out over the plate, but his throw really sailed into the runner. No chance for Echeverria. Good heads-up play by Segura, because when you make this slide, you have trouble finding the ball. He picked it up right away and then was able to make it over to 3rd base.
And now Milwaukee has a great opportunity to get on the board first with a 1-0 count to Gennett. Jonathan Lucroy, Carlos Gomez will follow. Marlin infield is back, except McGee at 3rd, who's even at the bag. Gennett, it's a fly ball to left field. Yelich is going to have to go back. Segura tagging. This is plenty deep enough to score the run. Here comes Segura, and he will score. And so Milwaukee is on the board. A stolen base, a throwing error. The Brewers off to a quick start, up 1-0.
Well, those little things hurt. Throwing error hurts, and give credit to the Brewers and Scooter Gennett with the sacrifice fly. He's done a good job. Gennett has, and a little less playing time for Ricky Weeks because of it.
Here is Lucroy now. Kohler, of course, didn't give up a run in his 7 innings in San Francisco in his last start. Not only is Ryan Braun out tonight with that sore right side, Aramis Ramirez is still on the disabled list with a strained left hamstring. There's a look at Braun, who came off the disabled list a couple weeks ago and has not hit since. Lucroy pounds one into left field. This is a Brewer team that can really swing it. And they've shown that in the first 3 hitters of the night.
Well, Lucroy 8th in the league in batting. He's going to jump up a little bit with that base hit. On base percentage around 400. And he has been their most consistent hitter all year.
And Milwaukee's most exciting player all year has been Carlos Gomez. Whether it's with the glove or with the bat, Gomez, look at that, 10 home runs, 23 driven in. And he's been in that leadoff spot most of the year.
Yeah, he sat out a game in Atlanta with some soreness in his lower back. But you know, with Braun out, who probably isn't available tonight, so Ron Renicky playing with one less guy.
Gomez swings and hits a fly ball to left. Yelich goes back at the track, and he makes the catch. It almost looked like Gomez slipped a bit as he was swinging.
Yeah, and it didn't sound like he got it right on the beat of the bat, but he still sent it to the warning track.
Here's a look at the swing.
Yeah, that front foot slips out of the way a little bit, but he still hit it well.
Now Mark Reynolds. I think it's only fitting that Mark Reynolds has ended up in a Brewer uniform, because he certainly fits what the Brewers have been about all the way back to the Harvey Wallbanger days.
Would he have fit in with the Gorman Thomases and that group?
Absolutely. Mark Reynolds has a lot of power, is a free swinger, and it's either a home run or a strikeout, it seems. 9 home runs, but he's punched out 52 times in 133 at bats. He is one of the most prolific strikeout guys in the history of the game. But also a guy that can hit it a long way if you make a mistake.
Yeah, to say all or nothing, I mean, that fits Mark Reynolds to a T. He led his league, whichever league, be it National League, he was 3 years, and American League 1 year, 4 years in a row in strikeouts.
Jonathan Lucroy's at first. Milwaukee has a run against Tom Kohler. It's one thing Kohler's been really good at this year, is not giving up runs in the first inning. He's been one of the tougher pitchers in the league to score against in the first.
He's also done a pretty good job in shutting things down, shutting down the opposition's rally. So he's got to get a big out here to do that.
Reynolds, who had some enormous years as a Diamondback, pitch misses away.
Reynolds fell into that group when the Diamondbacks were making that changeover from too many strikeouts to maybe putting together a club that makes more contact. And he was kind of part of that. That's a big years, though, as you said, with Arizona.
Spent a couple of years, productive years, with Baltimore. Breaking ball, Reynolds lines it into center field. Ozuna comes on and makes a running catch. But the Brewers, a leadoff single, stolen base, throwing error, sacrifice fly, 1-0. Do so in this orderly fashion. It's brought to you by JM Lexus. Christian Yelich in the leadoff spot. Derek Dietrich hits second. Giancarlo Stanton hits third. Casey McGee, Garrett Jones, Jared Saltalamacchia. Look at the run that Marcell Ozuna is on, and he's had 2 big home runs in the last 2 ball games. Danny Echeverria hits 8th. Tom Kohler occupies the 9 spot, and they'll be facing the 30-year-old Marco Estrada.
I think it'd be safe to say to put Estrada in that journeyman group. He's been a solid starting pitcher. Last year he was 7-4, had an ERA under 4. He missed some time with a hamstring pull, but the 30-year-old out of Cal State Long Beach, so Long Beach State grad, ready to go to work. The one area that has really troubled Estrada this year is the home run ball. He's allowed a National League leading 12.
Here is Yelich, who starts this game and finished yesterday's game. Estrada throws strike 1. Yelich banged one up the middle into center field to end the ball game against the Phils. A thrilling finish to a game in which the Marlins almost didn't make it to the finish line. Miami blew a 3-0 lead after 7 shutout innings of Henderson Alvarez. Yelich sends out one in the gap, left center field, and it's caught there. A running catch in left by Chris Davis. So up comes Derek Dietrich now.
And we'll take a look at the defense for the Brew Crew. You saw Chris Davis in left field. Carlos Gomez and Logan Schaefer, the right fielder. Mark Reynolds and Segura. Scooter Jeanette, Lyle Overbay around that infield, and Jonathan Lucroy behind the plate.
Dietrich now climbs in. And a fastball from Estrada. Stanton to follow. The Marlins had that 3-0 lead disappear. A.J. Ramos and Mike Dunn gave up 3 runs combined in the 7th and the 8th inning before Yelich walked off with the RBI hit in the 9th. Marlins built that 3-0 lead in part a 2-run homer by Marcell Ozuna. Giancarlo Stanton had an RBI hit in the game as well.
Where's that good changeup? When he doesn't have that changeup working, he's been using a pretty good curveball as well. He's not an overpowering guy, but a good pitch that last one to Dietrich.
Fastball is up. What do we know about this right-hander?
Little hesitation early on in that windup. We talked about the 12-6 curveball, and when you see depth to the changeup,
little roller
keeps coming. I mean, it dives downward, especially to the left-handed hitter. And that was one of the first times I think we've seen a team shift in the infield on Derek Dietrich this year.
Yeah, the Brewers are a very aggressive defensive shifting team. Of course, Ron Renneke is from the Mike Scioscia tree out in Anaheim back when Joe Madden was carrying that big computer around with all the spreadsheets. That's when I think defensive shifting really started in earnest.
Well, now they're shifting with Stanton. I'm sure they'll do it with Saltalamacchia and Garrett Jones, especially when you have a guy who has a couple of good off-speed pitches in the curveball and changeup, such as Estrada.
Boy, Stanton just saw a fastball right down the middle, and it's 0-2.
Similar to that first pitch fastball he saw from Hamels yesterday, and he hammered it for an RBI base hit.
Stanton, center field. It's hit well. Gomez goes back. He looks. It is gone. Way gone. Giancarlo, dead center. 1-1.
Didn't take long to tie it, and Giancarlo was just waiting for that one pitch. That's all he needed. We talked about the home run ball really getting into Estrada's line. That's the 13th home run he's allowed this year. Marlins have hit 50 home runs already. Look at that out over the plate. Straightaway center field. Doesn't matter what part of the ballpark Stanton goes to.
Let's see where this ball hits. Yeah, it looked like it hit just above the camera cutout in the batter's eye and bounced into the bushes. And now a former Brewer, Casey McGee, is up. I was stunned that Stanton got an 0-1 fastball down the middle, and I think he was as well. And even more surprised that he got an 0-2 fastball right down the middle.
Wow. I mentioned the 50 home runs this year for the Marlins. They hit 95 all of last year.
McGee takes down low. Casey McGee really got his first chance to play every day in the big leagues with the Brewers. He kind of languished in the Cubs organization behind current Brewer third baseman Aramis Ramirez, who was on the disabled list. Struck him out. Fastball outside corner, and the inning is over. But not before the Marlins draw even.
Español está disponible por SAP.
Both teams with a run in the first, both very different ways to get it. The Brewers scratched one out, and the Marlins clobbered one out. Giancarlo Stanton, his 13th of the season, and a ball that I'm guessing when it's all said and done is about 435, 440 feet. That one landing off the batter's eye and then bouncing down into the bushes. And so Tom Kohler goes back to work.
So Stanton's a little further than the one Marlon Byrd hit, the big one he hit for the Phillies yesterday, which just landed in the bushes.
That was a long home run and a big home run, obviously, for the Phils.
Tom Kohler looks like he has a good feel out there. He's not wasting much time. Good rhythm. That's always a good sign.
Looking at the Brewers box scores and reading Lyle Overbay's name is sort of a blast from the past. He last played in 2005 with him. Kohler strikes him out with a backdoor breaking ball. First strikeout for Tom. Chris Davis comes up. Marlins.com, your one-stop shop for breaking news, tickets, sweepstakes, merchandise, and more. Sign up for free Marlins email or text alerts. You can get year-round Marlins coverage, offers, discounts, and more. Go to Marlins.com and become an insider today. Chris Davis climbs in. And Davis takes a strike. Davis, a 26-year-old. Grew up in Arizona. Played his college ball at Cal State Fullerton. And a real nice offensive piece especially power-wise, coming up in the minors, and even last year in his time with the Brewers.
Well, you see how he spells his first name, Chris, with a K, Khris. Well, his nickname is Crush, but also spelled with a K.
That one fouled back almost up here.
I'll tell you what, Rich, that's as closest one as we've seen to us.
There was no one sitting in the suite below us, and so it kind of rattled around and bounced down into the seats.
Tony Perez a little to our left, but didn't get a real good jump.
Davis takes a fastball up. Davis last year played in 56 games for the Brewers, and all he did was hit 12 doubles and 13 home runs and slugged close to 600. That's a home run every 12 at bats. This year he's got 5 homers and 10 doubles. Brewers lost last night in Atlanta 5-4 in a bizarre game. Outside corner, Kohler gets Davis. So a pair caught looking to open up the second for Milwaukee.
Well, one of the numbers really pops out at you with Tom Kohler this year. Opposing batters hitting 191, and actually lefties hitting 173, right-handers 211. So he has held the opposition to a batting average under 200.
First pitch swinging, Schaefer knocks it into center field. Logan Schaefer with a base hit. And the Brewers have a 2-out single that'll bring up Estrada. Last night in Atlanta, Milwaukee had the lead going into the 7th inning, and the 7th inning was one of the stranger ones you'll ever see. It lasted 47 minutes, and the crux of the confusion was when Ron Renicky went to make a pitching change and came out and called for a left-hander. There was nobody warming up in the Brewers bullpen in Atlanta. Zach Duke came running out of the bullpen. He didn't want Duke. He wanted Will Smith, the other lefty. And so a couple things happened there. Neither guy had warmed up, and you only get 8 once you come into the game. And there was confusion as to whether Duke had to pitch because he came on the field, or they could indeed bring Smith in. As it was, after actually a video review of the rule and clarification back in New York, Smith did pitch. And the Braves came back. Ryan Doumit had a big 2-run single against him, and Atlanta went on to win the ball game.
You know, to the credit of Ron Renicky, he took the blame, but he was working with a short coaching staff. His pitching coach, good friend of ours, Rick Kranitz, was away for the game, a graduation. I think his daughter was graduating. Lee Tuttle, the bullpen coach, was also away. So he didn't have everybody in place, but if it was somebody else's fault, you don't know because Ron Renicky took the blame.
Here's the 1-1. Ground ball sprayed Dietrich's way. Comes to get it. Underhand flip to Jones in time. Kohler, a rather uneventful second in a 1-1 game. Jones gets in there. Let's go back to last night. We were talking about that odd situation. Tommy, one of the things that made this tough, and you noted he's without a couple coaches, you can't see the bullpens in Atlanta, and so the call went to the bullpen, and there was nobody throwing.
Yeah, that bullpen, that visiting bullpen is tucked down in that left field corner, and you really don't get sight of it. The manager certainly can't see it. We can't even see it when we're up here in the booth.
And you saw Zach Duke come on. That was not the pitcher he wanted. He wanted Will Smith. And the rule states, and Freddie Gonzalez wanted clarification, and the umpires actually had to call New York to get clarification. It's whomever the manager tells the umpire he's going to, unless somebody else comes out of the pen and actually gets to the mound. So the fact that Duke came on the field
but he didn't get to the mound
and crossed the line, so to speak, doesn't mean that he had to come in the ballgame.
I know I've crossed that line many times.
That's right. with great success, I might add. Here's Jones now. Marcell Ozuna certainly has had 2 explosive ball games with a grand slam and yesterday a 2-run homer. But Garrett Jones is really enjoying this homestand, and his numbers continue to grow.
And again, as expected, another shift, but it all goes to the pitcher. I don't know if I'm buying in on all these shifts because you don't always have a pitcher who can pitch to it. But in the case of Marco Estrada, because he has a couple of good off-speed pitches, not a bad idea for the Brewers.
Jones goes against the shift, bangs one to left, and Davis is there to make the catch. We've seen Garrett Jones over the last 2 or 3 weeks cross that shift up and get base hits into left field.
That's exactly why he's been swinging the bat well over the last few weeks.
Jared Saltalamacchia now. Saltalamacchia also gets the same shift, but I think for Salty, he really could care less. It's that big swing, and he's had success with it this year.
If he hits a ball to left field, it's usually a fly ball type variety. It's not a ground ball to the left side.
And he's emblematic of the Marlins' home road record. There's the good changeup for a strike. The Marlins, you saw the numbers for Saltalamacchia, the splits home and road. Marlins have the best home record. Saltalamacchia swings and misses. And there's 2 outs. This copyrighted telecast presented by the authority of the Marlins may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. Accounts and descriptions of the game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Marlins. Here is Ozuna. 19-6 at home are the Fish right now. 6-17 on the road. One area where they've improved themselves dramatically is their record against the East. Now just 2 under 500, 11-13.
If you go into the top 10, the National League RBI leaders, you'll find 3 Marlins: Stanton, Casey McGee, and Marcell Ozuna.
Ozuna cracks one to center, drills it good. Gomez back, and he reaches up and makes a leaping catch. It's a heck of a play by one of the best center fielders in the game, and Ozuna absolutely blasted that about 410 feet. 1-1 ball game in Miami. used to be when you came to the ballpark, you came with your sports page. Now you got to come with a handheld device, and that's where the AT&T fan photo comes in. Just tweet it, #FLFanPhoto, a chance to be an upcoming telecast. Maybe you'll get into this one. Tom Kohler. Back to the top of the order for the Brewers. And the Brewers got on the board when this man, Gene Segura, singled in the first. Swiped second, moved to third on the throwing error on that stolen base by Jared Saltalamacchia, and scored on Scooter Gennett's sacrifice fly. And it was pretty cut and dry and pretty easy for Milwaukee. Segura takes a strike.
As we've shown you a lot of home and road splits with the hitters, Tom Kohler falls into that category on the mound. Tremendous numbers pitching here at Marlins Park.
Segura bunts, Kohler has it and throws him out.
That's one because the pitch was inside. Segura couldn't really get out of the box quickly, so Tom Kohler did the right thing. He took his time. He didn't have to rush that play because he knew he'd be able to get Segura. The pitch is inside, so he doesn't get out of the box. If that pitch is away, he's out of the box a little bit better. He might have to hurry it a little more.
Now Scooter Gennett. We were talking about Gennett, Sarasota High School product. Spent just 3.5 years in the minor leagues. Now baseball is all about nicknames, and you would think he got the nickname Scooter from maybe Sarasota High School or in his college days. It happened when he was a youngster, a small child. He would not wear his seatbelt, so his mom took him to the police station to scare him. And as the officer asked him what his name was, Gennett didn't want to give him his real name. So he picked one of his favorite characters from the Muppet Show, Scooter. And he said, "My name is Scooter."
There you go.
And the police officer didn't blink.
Well, you know what? He's a solid player. Talking to one of his coaches, his first base coach, Garth Orge. Pretty good little infielder his day. Garth Orge telling me Scooter Gennett has some power. He's not a big guy. He plays second base well. Should be around for quite a while.
16th round draft pick out of Sarasota High School. He only spent 3.5 years in the minors before getting to the big leagues. And Kohler on a nasty breaking ball that just ate him up on the inner half.
I'll tell you another thing that's fun about watching Kohler tonight. We've seen him spot his fastball in and out. He's got that one going for him. We've seen him throw some curveballs, and he just put away Gennett with a good slider. There are those numbers we were talking about, home and road. 3-0 with an 0.64 ERA at home.
And of course the road ERA came down a bunch after his 7 shutout innings in San Francisco. Here is Lucroy, a Florida native, Umatilla. He'll be 28 in June. And Lucroy really burst onto the scene in 2012. He had that great start. It looked like he would be an all-star, and he fractured his hand and was out for a good deal of time. Played in just 96 games. Had a solid year last year.
You know what? Last year against the Marlins, of course, the Marlins were only 1-5 against Milwaukee. But Jonathan Lucroy was 10 for 19, so he's 11 for 20 now with his base hit his first time up.
Well, you're right. The Brewers not only dominated the Marlins last year, but the last 25 games, the Brewers have won 19 of them. Dietrich is there, and Kohler has settled in a 9-pitch inning. 1-1 ball game. starts with the Brewers. And so far, a 1-1 ball game. The Marlins 1 run coming on a Giancarlo Stanton solo homer. That was back in the first against Marco Estrada, who, as Tommy pointed out presciently, has given up a bunch of homers this year. That's the 13th home run in 56 innings that Estrada has given up.
You talked about it earlier, Rich, about this Brewer ball club. I mean, they have some hitters. There's no question about that, but they've done a lot of it with their starting pitchers. Kyle Loesch, Matt Garza, Giovanni Gallardo, Marco Estrada, and Willie Peralta. So their starting five done a pretty good job. The Marlins may miss Gallardo, who sprained his ankle in his last outing. He's supposed to pitch Sunday, but kind of leaning like he may not. We might see somebody else.
Adeiny Echeverria now takes a breaking ball outside. Echeverria coming out of the Phillies series. The Marlins taking 2 of 3 from the Phils. Knee-high fastball for a strike. Echeverria 0 for 8 in that Phillies series. Here's the 1-1. Well, Randy Wolf, the former Brewer, will pitch, and I guess the question going into tonight, would Gallardo get the start? With more on that, here's Craig.
Yeah, thanks, guys. Talking to Ron Renicky today, the Brewers manager. He said from a throwing standpoint, they're not really concerned, but with an ankle, he's an athletic guy. If somebody bunts on him, he can hit pretty well. If he's got to move along in terms of the base pass as well, it could be an issue. So it sounded like, as he was saying, they were leaning toward plan B. He was looking at the injury. What Renicky told us was that Gallardo is leaning toward plan A, which is pitching on Sunday. And Renicky said, well, we're going to make a decision on this probably tomorrow, but it looks like Gallardo will not pitch, and he will dip into the minor leagues and call up a starter from down there.
Well, at least Randy Wolf will be around, and for Brewer fans, that's going to be a sight to see, is old Randy Wolf out there.
Well, I'll tell you what, if Gallardo does not pitch on Sunday, it takes another bat out of that lineup for the Milwaukee Brewers. Giovanni Gallardo, 12 career home runs.
He's the Carlos Zambrano of his era. Of course, Randy Wolf, a longtime Brewer, back into a major league starting rotation for the first time since 2012.
That's some good years with the Brewers, 2010 and 11.
Kohler swings, misses. Lucroy lost it and throws him out. And so Yelich comes up with 2 outs and nobody on in a 1-1 game. Geico Quote, let's say hi to the Gecko, who arrives here in the 3rd. Mike Redmond, we kept fighting, put together some good at-bats, and ended up walking them off. I think that's the beauty of this ball club, and that's in reference to the Yelich hit. Yelich had some opportunities during the ball game in which he didn't convert, didn't come through. So Redmond thought it was sweet that Yelich got the opportunity to win it, and did.
And got it against a tough left-hander we saw in that series, and has hit left-handers to an over 300 clip. A little shift on there, was shading Yelich into that hole on the left side, and he took that ball up the middle. So Jake Diekman, a tough lefty, and Yelich hung right in there.
As well, Redmond also referring to the fact that Henderson Alvarez was dynamite and the bullpen couldn't hold the lead, but the Marlins still won the ball game, and that's probably a game last year that the Marlins do not win.
Well, and it's so true what Red said. This ball club just keeps doing that. You hate to see the lead vanish, but you also know they're going to continue to battle. Let's see what kind of pitch Estrada throws 3-1. He has confidence in that changeup. There was. See, 3-1, the changeup doesn't even have to be a real good one. That one was up. But because it was 80 miles an hour, you're swinging fastball.
He does not waste any time. He gets the ball and he's right back ready in the windup. And he figures fastball. Yelich was thinking changeup. It is strike 3 called. 5 strikeouts already for Marco Estrada. 1-1 game after 3. Brewers and Marlins. The new Marlins Flex Packs are back. Take advantage of the season ticket prices with the flexibility of coming to the ballpark when you want with as many people as you want. Get 20 ticket vouchers starting at just $13 a game. Pick up your Flex Pack today. 1-877-MARLINS or go to marlins.com. Well, after Marco Estrada strikes out the side, Tom Kohler finds himself right back to work. He gets Carlos Gomez, Mark Reynolds, Lyle Overbay. I told you earlier, Gomez has been in the leadoff spot a lot and with great success this year. He's hit 4 leadoff home runs. There's 10 home runs on the year and 10 doubles to go with 2 triples.
Well, he also does what we just saw him do a lot. Swing at that first pitch. He's an aggressive hitter. Came out of his shoes on that first pitch breaking ball.
He is one of the best defensive players in the game. And obviously a premium position in center field. Breaking ball, strike. Gomez didn't like the call. And the count's 1-2. Gomez not only won the Gold Glove last year, he also won a Fielding Bible Award, and he robbed 5 home runs. It's the best total by an outfielder in the last 10 years. He was all over that breaking ball and scorches it down the line, and it bangs off the wall. Gomez has his 11th double, and he leads off the 4th.
Tom Kohler's done such a nice job in spotting that fastball. Look at the target. Look where Salty is. Away, wants it off the plate. Might have been a backup slider. But either way, the pitch missed, and it was on the inner half, and Gomez just jumped on it.
So Gomez is aboard, and now Kohler gets Mark Reynolds, Lyle Overbay, and Chris Davis.
Got to be careful of Gomez, too, at second base.
Reynolds flied to center and hit it well his first time up. Reynolds coming off a year in which He started the season with the Indians and then ended it with the Yankees. Hit 21 homers. Smacks that one to left field, hits it deep. Yelich goes back, and he looks up, and Mark Reynolds has done it again. Into the Clevelander goes Reynolds, and Milwaukee is back on top. It is all or nothing, and that was all.
Well, there's no change whatsoever in his game plan. I mean, he had that year with Arizona. He had 44 home runs. He struck out 223 times. So here's the all. Fastball, middle of the plate. So a couple of mistake pitches by Tom Kohler, and he's gotten hurt. The double by Gomez and the home run by Reynolds.
Reynolds on the road now. And of course, he plays his home games at a really good hitter's park in Milwaukee. That one is off of Kohler, who picks it up and gets the out. While Overbay bouncing out. Not sure if it hit Kohler's glove, if it hit him on the backside.
Brewers are very aggressive tonight. They're that type of club. A lot of first pitch swinging. A little behind the back. May have knocked it down with the glove behind his back.
Chris Davis now. But you got power bats in this lineup. I know the Brewers are missing two of their biggest bats in Aramis Ramirez on the disabled list and Ryan Braun, who's not in there tonight. That right side continues to give him issues. But still, you've got a guy like Reynolds, Chris Davis.
Kind of gives you an idea the type of lineup they have when those guys are healthy.
Amen. Davis called out on strikes in the second. Reynolds is turning out to be a nice sign by Doug Melvin. Just a 1-year, $2 million deal. And he's already hit 10 home runs. Leaping is McGee, and he robs Davis.
Well, the Brewers not getting fooled much in this inning, having some terrific swings. Yeah, Reynolds can give you some first base and play third base, as he is tonight. Some balls have been hit hard in this inning. Great timing by Casey McGee.
Now Schaefer in the 8th spot. He's singled back in the second. Milwaukee already has 5 hits to go with their 3 runs. Brewers walk in here at 28-20.
They've been pretty solid. They're 14-10 at home and 14-10 on the road.
They lost 3 of 4 against Atlanta. Atlanta is starting to play like they did in the month of April. Here as we get to the later stages of May. Schaefer fouls it back.
Braves are hosting the Rockies tonight.
Rockies have improved themselves to 26-21. Atlanta is 26-20. Giants still in first in the West at 29-18. Did you see that Troy Tulowitzki, after the somewhat of a controversy with the accusation that he was stealing signs against the Giants, the next day he came up and his walk-up song was "I Saw the Sign."
I saw the sign.
And that was by his request.
And I thought a great way to handle that whole situation.
2-2 is popped high and out of play.
You know, it's a little bit of an adjustment, especially when the Marlins have been home for a while. It's not necessarily the case here. But when you've played a number of games with the roof closed and you look up, you have the darkness of the roof. You can pick up the ball. But here we are around that twilight time, and it's an adjustment because you have to make that adjustment as you do on the road.
Of course, the Brewers play in a ballpark, Miller Park, that has a retractable roof, but a very different configuration.
They don't have AC either.
No. We learned that a couple years ago.
We did.
End of the bat, shallow center. Echeverria gets out there, and he makes the catch. But Milwaukee, a Gomez double and a long homer from Mark Reynolds in a 3-1 lead. Sports Florida is brought to you by Lexus of Pembroke Pines. Visit Lexus of Pembroke Pines, South Florida's fastest growing Lexus dealer. Price, service, selection. By the Florida Department of Transportation, reminding you to drive sober or get pulled over. And by Acura and your local Acura dealer. Mark Reynolds talking to Brett Butler, telling him, yeah, I got just about all of that one. His 10th homer of the season, a 2-run shot, and it has Milwaukee on top by a score of 3-1. Marco Estrada has been a strike-throwing machine. Efficient. He's worked quickly. He gets Derek Dietrich, Giancarlo Stanton, and Casey McKee. Brewers infield will shift over to the right side for Dietrich. And we'll shift over to the other side for Stanton.
Yeah, they kind of go back and forth. Then they'll go back there for Jones and Saltalamacchia. Seen the occasional curveball, but we've seen him really locate his fastball well and use that changeup to perfection. Marlins going to have to make some adjustments this second time around.
Dietrich bounced into shallow right to Scooter Gennett, the second baseman, into the teeth of the shift. Back in the first. Estrada struck out the side in the third and has racked up 5 strikeouts in the ball game.
Estrada actually born in Sonora, Mexico. Moved to California when he was about 6 years old.
And a dirtbag, as you noted, Long Beach State.
Long Beach State. And because of being Mexican descent in the WBC, played for Team Mexico.
Dietrich fouls it back. Derek Dietrich's Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets having a good ACC tournament. Two. Gomez is in, and he makes the catch. We check in with Craig Minervini. Craig?
Thank you, Rich. Last time up, Giancarlo Stanton with a shot for his 13th home run of the year. Also got him to the RBI total of 46. There was a shot to straightaway center where Marlins Bird hit it. In fact, even further, it was off the hitter's eye there. So Stanton now has 46 RBIs in 47 games. He's just 4 shy of the 50 mark, and in Marlins history, the guy who got there quickest to 50 RBIs, a guy by the name of Mike Lowell, did it in 2003. Mikey got the 57th game to 50 RBIs, so Stanton is 47 games, 10 games away from that to try and get 4 RBIs, become the fastest to 50 in Marlins history. Alou, Conine, Floyd, also on that list of 50 RBIs in 60 or less games. Almost an RBI game, guys.
A tremendous year for Stanton. 1-1 pitch. And it misses down low. Estrada being a little more cautious this time instead of throwing 3 straight fastballs to him.
Yeah. Yeah, no Marlin has ever had 50 RBIs by June 1st.
McGee's on deck. 2-1 pitch coming. End of the bat. It squirts over to first. And Overbay steps on the bag. And so Estrada has the first 2 outs of the 4th. Here comes McGee. We had a question the other night about Casey McGee and his equipment.
You're talking about his bat.
His bats. And we wondered out loud if maybe he brought some of the equipment back home with him from Japan. He said he was able to bring a few, but he cannot get the bats that he used last year, the Mizuno bats. He has a couple of them left, and he keeps them in a very safe place. And he said he may use them, but it's going to be a special night when he does. He said the bats over in Japan were much better, he felt, than the bats here in Major League Baseball. He said the Mizuno equipment, whether it was spikes, glove, bat, were terrific. In fact, he still uses the Mizuno glove that he got last year.
Didn't you used to hear that from Ichiro when he first came over too, about the bats?
Yeah, Ichiro brought his own bats, and he carried them in a case, and he never let them out of his sight. Reynolds throws across the diamond. 1-2-3 go the Fish in the 4th, and it's 3-1 Milwaukee. And the Brewers have a 3-1 lead. 5th inning rolls around, and so do the South Florida Lexus dealer standings. Marlins are in 2nd place, just a smidge ahead of the Washington Nationals. You see the Mets and the Phillies are both 5 back. And tonight in the division, Washington's on the road in Pittsburgh and down 2-0. That's in the top of the 4th. Atlanta is home against the Rockies, and the Rockies have scored first. 1-0 Colorado in the bottom of the 2nd. Mets are at home against the Diamondbacks and trailing 2-0 in the bottom of the 4th. The Phillies are home against the Dodgers. There's a bouncer over Kohler, Echeverria has it and safe at first. Would have been a terrific play. Kohler got fooled by that ball. Echeverria sliding and throwing. The Marlins video room is certainly active.
Yeah, they're checking this one out. This was a close play at first base. What an effort by Danny Echeverria, though. Behind second base.
Mike Redmond's coming out to start the process.
Yeah, I think Kohler thought that ball was hit a little harder than it was. Well, it's close. First base umpire Brian O'Nora. But look how quickly he pops up and then gets rid of the ball. This is amazing.
Ooh, I think he's out.
I think he got him.
I think he is out.
And as you point out all the time, it's when that ball gets to the back of the glove.
And they are going to review it. And so Brian O'Nora, the first base umpire, and the crew chief, Doug Eddings, will come on. They'll get the headsets on. Now, normally as well, for people in the ballpark, they show it up on the big screen. A lot of the players and all the fans are looking at the big screen. And he's out. And you can hear the fans' reaction.
And one of the guys looking up at the big screen is Marco Estrada. He's standing over at first base.
Estrada actually took a step to the dugout after watching the replay.
They're probably telling him, hold off, you never know. But then it'll even be more spectacular, the play by Echeverria.
Kind of robs you of that call as an announcer because you want to call it as a spectacular play. But once he's safe, it is a nice play, but
it's not as emphatic of a call.
No. You know, great play by Echeverria, but he's safe.
Now, if you could do it over again, you could do the voiceover.
He is out.
Now, do the voiceover again and call him out. Here it is. Here it is.
I can't do it. I can't work off a script.
I'll tell you, that's just acrobatic and tremendous by Echeverria.
It was a terrific play. And Echeverria knew all along that it was the pitcher. And that if he could get to it and slide, then he might have a shot, and he certainly did. Segura takes a strike.
So on all the highlight shows now, they won't be hearing your call of a great play of the out at first base.
No, they'll hear me say he's safe, and then they'll show the video of the two umpires, and that won't be the one. Okay, let's just be honest.
Yeah, that won't be the one.
Segura, one of 5 hits for the Brewers. And Kohler again has one get by him. Dietrich's throw not nearly in time. Remember, Kohler was able to knock a ball down behind his back, but these last 2 balls have eluded him.
Yeah, the one that he knocked down behind his back was hit by Overbay. And I think on this one you can see the speed of Segura, who got a good jump out of the box. Dietrich with a strong arm. We talk about his strong arm, but he still couldn't get Segura.
And Segura might not be at first very long. He has swiped 10 bags this year, and he stole second back in the first. And Ron Renneke has always been a very aggressive manager when it comes to the running game. And you would think part of that is being the bench coach and coaching under Mike Scioscia, who, even though he coached with the Angels as Scioscia managed the Angels, Scioscia managed the Angels like it was a National League team. They ran a lot. And Renneke has done that. The Brewers the last 2 years have led the National League in stolen bases combined. 142 and 158 are their last 2 seasons of stolen bases.
Well, the other thing, too, about Ron Renneke, he managed 5 years in the minor leagues before hooking up with Scioscia as one of his coaches. So a lot of experience as a manager. He replaced Ken Maka back in 2010.
Renneke right now not happy with, I think, the home plate umpire, whether he was upset that Kohler didn't come set. Renneke played in the big leagues for 8 years. His brother was part of that great platoon system for Earl Weaver, Gary Renneke.
And John Lowenstein.
Ron Renneke was part of the Padres World Series team in '84 that lost to the Detroit Tigers. Scooter Gennett. Segura, big jump running. It's a fair ball, and that's real trouble. Into the corner it goes. Stanton will have to retrieve it. By the time he picks it up, Segura will have scored. Gennett on his way to third with a triple.
Boy, that cheering over in Sarasota. Scooter Gennett with his second triple of the year. He has 9 doubles, a couple of home runs. Just gets that ball past Garrett Jones. That's a long way for Stanton to go to finally track it down.
Well, the Marlins, of course, and we've documented this over the last couple of weeks, very aggressive with their outfield shifts. Stanton plays well off the line, bunches the gaps. So you get a ball like that down the line, especially with a left-handed hitter, and Stanton starts that play in right center field. Infield in, Lucroy.
A couple of things have been the issue for Tom Kohler. It's not that he doesn't have good stuff. First of all, he's up against a good hitting team, a very aggressive hitting team, and the location hasn't been there for him.
Well, he's 2-0 on a really good hitter in Lucroy, who's having an all-star type year right now. And if he loses him, he gets Gomez, who you could probably say the same about Gomez as well. For a team that sits in first in the Central. Kohler knocked that one down. How about that? And that may have saved a run. He had 2 get by him. And in degree of difficulty, this was the toughest, and he swings his glove and knocks it down.
I don't know if I can ever remember a pitcher having so many balls hit right back up the box, but he took a peep, too. After he knocked that ball down, he still had the presence of mind to look at the runner, Gennett, over at third, and hold him, and got the out. What a play. Think about some of the defensive plays in this inning.
Yeah, the sliding stop and whirling throw by Echeverria. Now that play, and here's Gomez, who clobbers one left field deep. Yelich back at the wall, off the wall, and that scores the run. Gomez on his way to second, and he glides in with a head-first slide, second double.
First pitch hitting. We talked about that. His last AB, he's aggressive. He'll jump out of his shoes on that first pitch.
Milwaukee stretches the lead, and it sends pitching coach Chuck Hernandez to the bullpen phone.
Talking about location, there's a belt high curveball right there for Gomez.
Gomez almost hit it out. Certainly it's out in Milwaukee.
I think he thought he hit it out too.
Somewhere Garrett Cole is screaming at a television. Here's Reynolds. Then he takes a strike, and it's 0-1. That was the incident in Pittsburgh when Gomez hit a ball off the wall in center, and maybe a little more of a deliberate stance. Reynolds cranks one left field. That's deep, and it's gone. His second of the night. Mark Reynolds, and the Brewers crack it wide open. It is 7-1.
Tom Kohler's working so quickly, and the Brewers are so aggressive and hitting early in counts, it's hard to get somebody up. And again, location, location, location tonight. Not where Tom Kohler would like it.
Reynolds went to straightaway left with his first. That to left center. 11 home runs already this year for Reynolds.
Brewers have 5 extra base hits in their last 10 batters.
And they've hit for the cycle this inning. Segura a single, Jeanette the triple, Gomez a double, Reynolds a home run. Overbay, who is 0 for 2, takes a strike. Well, if the Marlins are going to get back in this ball game, they're going to have to do some digging because they are down by 6.
They're going to have to figure out Marco Estrada, too.
And they're going to have to chase down some balls, as Ozuna does. The Brewers have come in swinging, and as a result, are up 7-1. To recognize the Army's Gold Star Pin campaign, which honors the families of fallen service members. To learn more, visit goldstarpins.org. You can see the stars tonight. The roof is open on a glorious night here in Miami. The Milwaukee Brewers are certainly enjoying themselves. They got into their hotel about 3:30 last night. But no worries, Mark Reynolds has hit 2 long home runs. Carlos Gomez has a pair of doubles. Scooter Jeanette, the pride of Sarasota, has knocked in a couple. And Miami finds themselves down 7-1. Garrett Jones, Jared Saltalamacchia, Marcell Ozuna. If you thought Marco Estrada was working quickly before, what do you see now? Estrada gets the ball, and he is right back on the rubber.
After that home run from Giancarlo Stanton, Estrada's retired 10 straight.
The Stanton homer, the only hit.
By the way, can you make that mention of Scooter Jeanette with Ian Desmond not in the house? Pride of Sarasota.
All right, one of the prides of Sarasota.
There are many.
There are many. I mean, Sarasota High School, you look at Desmond in the big leagues. Casey Kelly. It'll be fun to see him finally get healthy and be pitching in the big leagues after undergoing Tommy John surgery. Joey Terlaslovich of the Braves is in AAA. Pitching coach of the St. Louis Cardinals, Derek Lilliquist. They're all from Sarasota High School. Go back even further. Doug Corbett, Bobby Say.
Doug Corbett, fine relief pitcher. The Twins, the Angels.
Two coming to Jones, and he fouls it off. Jones lined to left his first time up. They are still delayed in Philly. The Dodgers a 2-0 lead. That's in the fourth. And Pittsburgh is starting to play like Pittsburgh of last year, a 4-0 lead over Washington. The Pirates are 6 under now, 20-26.
Well, the Pirates got a little shot in the arm today. They activated Jason Grilling, their closer.
Drill, right field, deep, upper deck. Garrett Jones has had a great homestand. 7 for 11. And home run number 7. Marco Estrada has given up 2 solo homers, and now he's given up 14 home runs on the year.
Well, he can stand out there and say, but he has a 5-run lead right now. Solo home run, he'll give up those, and he's given up 2 of them. Saw Lucroy reaching for it, pitcher's out a little bit, and boy, that got to that second deck, that home run porch in a hurry.
You see the exit speed, 101 miles an hour. Saltalamacchia, a liner, and to the track. Schaefer makes the catch. So a loud out for the first out. Here's Ozuna. Ozuna blasted one about 410 feet from home plate. It was run down in center by Carlos Gomez.
With the way the balls have been hit tonight, I'm going to have to say it's really carrying well with the roof open.
Is there enough of a sample size that you can say accurately one way or the other? Roof open, roof closed?
Not really. I think you and I have talked about that, and it's really hard because there haven't been enough games. And then it's also very calm. There's no wind swirling around. Sometimes if the roof opens or wind swirling around, that might affect it too.
Out number 2, here comes Echeverria. Well, Estrada right now giving up just the 2 solo homers and a 7-2 lead. Echeverria, little check swing, cutting across his Reynolds, and the former shortstop at the University of Virginia makes a nice play. Miami gets a run back. Garrett Jones, a solo homer to right. Solo homers, Garrett Jones and Giancarlo Stanton. The Marlins and the Brewers are back at it tomorrow. Remember, it's a 4:10 start tomorrow, and you can celebrate Cuban Heritage Night at the ballpark and enjoy a live concert on the West Plaza with Cuban reggae sensation Gente de Zona, presented by Bana Sugar. Go to Marlins.com.
Rich, we may have to go out to Taste of Miami. Get us a Cuban sandwich tomorrow. There's Ed Lucas. Mike Redmond making a double switch. He wants to get as many innings out of Brad Hand as he can. So Brad Hand comes in, will hit an Echeverria's spot, and Ed Lucas will hit 9. So these are always opportunities for the two guys in the bullpen who get these chances, Brad Hand and Kevin Slowey.
Chris Davis, Logan Schaefer, and then Marco Estrada. Swinging a drive left field. That's deep. Yelich goes back at the wall, and that's up at the Budweiser balcony. Chris Davis crushes to left. And Brad Hand now knows what Tom Kohler felt watching Mark Reynolds blast a couple out of here. Davis is 6th.
Well, I told you his nickname coming up in the minor leagues was Crush with a K, and he did crush this one right over the 427-foot side,
right over the heart of the plate. Jam shot from Schaefer. McGee corrals it.
All right, this is just my analogy here. When you see a team, and certainly the Marlins pitchers, and it's going to be Jacob Turner tomorrow night, are going to have to change their approach. When you have a team as aggressive as they've shown tonight, you have to do something about it.
And that is be more cautious early in the count. Is it?
That would be one thing. Another thing, you hear the term, let them move their feet a little bit in the batter's box, maybe miss inside a little. Sometimes that takes away some of the aggressiveness.
Fastball from Hand. Estrada is 0 for 2. For Hand, an ERA of 6.14. And he strikes him out, elevates a fastball. And here comes Gene Segura. Make sure you tune in early for Marlins Live pregame tomorrow night, presented by the South Florida Honda dealers. Memorial Day weekend, and a terrific piece, Live Like Bella. Something you don't want to miss tomorrow night. Here is Segura. He has a pair of hits. Milwaukee has banged out 10 hits, now has 8 runs, and has an 8-2 lead.
I'm doing a quick check on this, Rich, but we may have our crack staff look into it a little more thoroughly. But my quick check tells me it's the first time the Marlins have allowed 3 homers in a game this year.
And none of them have been cheap.
No.
Of course, this ballpark doesn't give up any cheap home runs. Reynolds blasting both of his to left. And you just saw Davis go up at the Budweiser balcony. Now, Davis's ball, even though it landed above that sign that says 427 feet, as we all know, the true home run distance is going to be more than that, because that's 427 feet, but it's also elevated, what would you say, 30, 35 feet up from
at least
the playing surface. And so you've got to add trajectory where that ball would have landed had it not stuck in someone's Bud Light. I was pointing out the different ins and outs of the ballpark to some of the folks from Brewers television, and noted that the Budweiser balcony And Bowtie Bar is a fun place to visit and show. And they looked at me like I was from Mars, and I forgot, oh, yeah, that's right. They play in Miller Park.
They're not going to be showing that a whole lot. Well, they had to tonight.
That's right. Scooter Gennett, sac fly, RBI triple, and his struck out hand. Gennett drives it center field. Ozuna is there, and he makes the catch. Milwaukee hits another homer. Chris Davis, 8-2 Brewers. Brewer homer, 8-2 Milwaukee. It's bottom 6 here in Miami. Full day of baseball tomorrow. And it starts with the Rangers and the Tigers on Fox Sports 1. Season premiere of Baseball Night in America is on Fox tomorrow night as well. Cardinals and Reds, Royals and Angels, or Nationals and Pirates. MLB doubleheader begins Saturday, 3:30 Eastern on Fox Sports 1. Continues at 7 Eastern on Big Fox.
Checking up Rich on the Marlins Giants scoreboard in right center, which really is a great bit of information for fans. It estimated Garrett Jones's home run at 460 feet.
Really? Jones's home run?
Just an estimate.
Swibbler up the line. Lucas has to run it out in case it took a left turn.
You know, when you get an estimate on your car, you always get 2 or 3.
It's a good point. That's a good point. And then after you get another estimate, you go back to that first guy and you say, hey, look, my third estimate was 440 feet.
So we'll have to check hit tracker.
It'll be fun tomorrow at 4:10. Not necessarily right at 4:10. That's first pitch. But tomorrow night we'll find out the true distances of all the home runs, because I think when you add them up from Stanton's blast to center, Jones's shot to right, and then Reynolds 2 homers, you're going to see a lot of 430s, 440s tomorrow.
Yeah, I'm anxious to see the Chris Davis, what the distance was on his. Stanton's hitting off the batter's eye.
Yelich has been bedeviled by that changeup all night.
Tell you, most of the Marlins hitters have 5-6 strikeouts now, and no walks for Estrada. There it is again.
He'd only walked 16 coming into tonight, and this is his 10th start. I guess for Yelich, it's the equivalent of a right-handed hitter facing a lefty who's got that devastating changeup, a Moyer type. Even Hamels has such a great changeup. Many of the right-handed hitters saw that yesterday.
And I'll show you that fastball. That fastball we've seen 89, 90.
Fastball up. Estrada has 6 strikeouts. Tom Kohler went 5 innings in this ball game. 9 hits, 7 runs. No walks and 3 strikeouts. Jeanette makes the play. And there are 2 outs, and we said it coming into the telecast. Milwaukee has dominated the Marlins for a while now. In their last 25 games, the Brewers have won 19 of those 25. But at least the Marlins have scored a run tonight, which, coming off their last visit to Milwaukee, is a vast improvement. Last year, the Marlins played, what was it, a 3-game series in Milwaukee?
3-game series. There was a 2-0, a 6-0, and a 1-0 loss.
The 1-0 loss was an extra inning game. Both teams were scoreless into extras. The Marlins played 3 games in one of the best hitters' parks in all of baseball and did not score a measly run.
Those were right after the All-Star break.
And you conveniently missed them. Here's the 1-1. Conspiracy theorist would surmise that you had something to do with that. Preston Wilson ably sat in for you in Milwaukee. And the series, quite honestly, just wore Preston out because,
well, he was waiting for some runs.
He spent 3 days using all his best stories, all his best antidotes, all his best tales. And the Marlins didn't score 1 run. Dietrich with the count 3-2. There have been 5 home runs hit already tonight. And so maybe tonight, with the still air and the roof open and a warm night, it is jumping. Jeanette on to first in time. Estrada sails to the 6th. U-verse rewind. Andrew Heaney, first round pick of the Marlins, continues a nice rise, making his AAA debut, and it was a sweet one.
Yeah, 5 nice innings, gave up just 1 run, had a no decision. Look at that, no walks, 7 strikeouts. So a nice start for Heaney in his first start in AAA.
Here at Marlins Park tonight, the roof is open. The Brewers in town, and they are swinging it, and swinging it well tonight. Brad Hand faces Jonathan Lucroy. Carlos Gomez, Mark Reynolds to follow. Milwaukee has 10 hits, 3 of them homers, couple doubles, got a triple in there. Lucroy has a single.
Well, you talked about Lucroy earlier, 8th in the league in batting, tied for 3rd in the National League with 16 doubles, top 10 in the league in on-base percentage.
Here's a 1-1. Drive into left center field. Yelich going after it. He won't get it. It gets to the wall. And another extra base hit for the Brewers.
And another double for Jonathan Lucroy, his 17th.
Yikes. All right, you saw the video on Andrew Heaney. Let's go down to Craig for more on that.
Yeah, Rich, talking to Mike Redmond today, he was discussing a lot of Marlin pitchers in the past we've seen go right from Double-A to the majors. And Mike said you could still do that, and that's fine. But he does like the idea of getting some starts in Triple-A because you do face the veteran player often. Could be a guy who's got plenty or some big league experience. So you got to look at some different hitters with a little more on their resume, and that could help a guy like Heaney. Not that you have to do that, but he likes it in this case, and we'll see. Maybe we'll be seeing Heaney next month or so.
And you know, I talked to Brian Chapman before the game, Marlins Director of Player Development, and very pleased he was with the outing that Heaney had, making the move up to AAA. Said he got hit with a kind of a one-hopper line drive, nothing serious. But that's why the 5 innings probably could have gone 1 more inning, but they decided to, all right, 5 innings, pitched well, go a little bit longer next time.
Gomez has a pair of doubles, and both of those have been very well hit. They were both breaking balls from Kohler. One was off the wall in left, and the other was a line shot down the line.
I tell you, Gomez comes out of his shoes every time he swings.
He plays the game with a passion, that's for sure. I told you last year really was a breakout year for him. Was in the All-Star game, won the Gold Glove, and if you're into advanced metrics, his WAR, wins above replacement value, was first among all National League position players. And almost a 8.9.
Now, can you take that to arbitration?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Little check swing roller up the first base. So I think you could take anything that's, and I believe that WAR, and I believe that, a lot of the advanced metrics are starting to become more and more accepted throughout baseball, not only by arbiters, so to speak, but general managers and player personnel directors. You named Brian Chapman and the Marlins front office. There are guys that know the metrics and are advanced stat guys in just about every organization now. Stan's going to have to run a ways for this.
Wow.
And he's not going to get it. It's off the base of the wall. Gomez has got his 3rd double. Milwaukee's got their 9th run. And the onslaught continues. You can take that to arbitration too, Tommy.
Yeah, you can.
13 doubles now for Gomez to go with 10 home runs this year.
Well, we've seen, number one, an aggressive hitting team, and then just a whole lot of mistakes, a lot of pitches up in the strike zone. Tom Kohler left a lot of pitches up, and Brad Hand has done the same. That's a career high, 3 doubles in a game for Gomez.
Well, here's Reynolds, and Reynolds absolutely clobbered 2 balls in the 4th and in the 5th. both coming against Tom Kohler. Here's your Toyota trend. Home run rate. Reynolds shooting up there. His former teammate right above him, Justin Upton. They were together as Diamondbacks. Giancarlo Stanton.
There was some power and some strikeouts for those two guys.
We were talking about the strikeouts for Reynolds. Of the 6 biggest strikeout years by hitters in baseball history, Reynolds has 3 of them. Including the highest ever, 223 back in 09.
He's the modern day Rob Deere.
A swing and a miss. Though I think he's probably hit more homers or made more money. But Rob Deere was a Brewer too, right?
Yeah, he was a Tiger. A little bit with the Brewers. All 3 hits that Brad Hand has allowed have been extra bases. The home run and a couple of doubles.
All right, it's 9-2. So now you got me thinking, let's look up Rob Deere's numbers and see how they compare to Mark Reynolds.
Overbay, the only Brewer other than the pitcher without a base hit tonight.
Rob Deere in 11 years.
How many home runs?
230.
All right.
That's pretty good.
So Mark Reynolds is at 211.
Yeah, so Deere has hit more. Now we get to the strikeout portion of the telecast. 1,409 strikeouts for Deere. And that was 3,881 at-bats.
Did he ever top 200?
No, 186 was his high. That was in 87. He played in just 134 games, though.
Yeah, I think Sparky kept him out of the lineup the last month or so.
Strike to Overbay, who, although he played for the Brewers a while ago, was not a teammate of Rob Deere's.
37-year-old Lyle Overbay.
Overbay cranks one left center field. Ozuna and Yelich approach, and it's Ozuna who makes the catch over Yelich. Gomez tags on his way to third, and he's in there barely with a slide.
That's why it's a good choice to have Marcell Ozuna make that catch. He's in a much better position and has a better, stronger throwing arm than Christian Yelich. So he made that catch. I'll tell you what, he made that a lot closer to third base than I thought it'd be. Took him a little while to regroup after he caught the ball, but a strong throw was right there.
And a strike to Chris Davis. Davis is homered. In fact, Davis homered up on the Budweiser balcony. That one pulled foul. All right, here's the breakdown here. All right, Reynolds in 8 years, 3,557 at bats, 213 homers, including tonight. 1,329 strikeouts. Deere about 300 more at bats, has about 80 more strikeouts.
So they're very comparable.
And 80 more strikeouts does Deere have, and he has 27 more home runs and about 300 more at bats.
So for me to guess and just say he's the modern day Rob Deere, I was pretty close.
I know, and that's and you know what? That's why I wanted to do that, because I thought that was such a great comparison. Gomez goes down. So does the
everybody
ball boy.
Down.
It's a great comparison because they're very, very similar.
Rob Deere, an outfielder, and Reynolds, a third baseman, first baseman.
One-two coming, and it's out.
Then you have a hitter in this game that we've talked about, Jonathan Lucroy. 17 doubles on the year, hitting over 320. He has struck out 20 times and he's walked 20 times.
Hand with a breaking ball. He thought he had caught a corner. It's a little more humid out there tonight than it is usually, with the roof open. Gomez, the runner at third, an RBI double after Lucroy opened the inning with a double, and a 9-2 lead for Milwaukee. And Hand gets his strikeout of Davis. 9-2 Brewers. On top of the Marlins, it's the bottom of the seventh, and the AT&T fan photo, hashtag FL fan photo. Tommy submitted a selfie. Let's see if it was selected.
I submit one every night, and it's not accepted. Where was that picture taken?
It looks like a nearby restroom. Here's Giancarlo Stanton. That was a selfie too there, Tommy. You know, using the mirror.
I think you and I need to submit a selfie of the two of us. See if we make the cut. Are we eligible?
Well, I don't think you win anything, just exposure. I think we have plenty of that. That's a bomb, left field, and deep, and gone, way up there. Stanton's second of the night.
It's one of the most incredible offensive displays, both sides. But the Marlins have 3 hits tonight. All 3 are solo home runs, 2 by Giancarlo and 1 by Garrett Jones. Just watch this one. And you know what? That's how you hit it. Put the bat down, put your head down, and run the bases. There are a few guys in the league that should watch that.
Estrada with a breaking ball that misses outside to McGee. So 12 multi-homer games. He did it against the Dodgers on the 4th of May. And despite the pyrotechnics, so to speak, Miami is still down by 6, 9-3.
So Giancarlo has regained the National League lead in home runs, too. 14 now. Tulowitzki with 13.
Marco Estrada has given up 15 home runs already. McGee bounces out to second.
So getting closer also is Stanton to that 50 RBI mark. 2 tonight, so he's at 47.
Now here's Garrett Jones. All right, that's another home run, Tommy, that tomorrow night, and I'm telling you, tomorrow night we are going to have the mother of all home run graphics that detail all the distances tonight. And that one may be the longest, although, you know, Jones shot. Davis hit a ball up to the Budweiser balcony. That was past the Budweiser bar, but it was towards the line more. And that one by Stanton may be the longest of the night.
I don't expect to get results tonight, but I'm going to shoot off a text to one of our Crack Staff insiders that helps us out with home run distances.
All right, here's Jones' home run. And watch how far this one goes. And that had a pretty good trajectory. It wasn't really on a steep decline when it hit. That means he'll get some bonus distance out of it. He hits another one to right field. That one's deep. That one's gone. Miami has hit 4 solo homers. Stanton's hit 2. Jones has hit 2.
Well, I'll say they're starting to figure out Marco Estrada a little bit with the changeup, with the fastball. He goes down and gets a pretty good pitch. So Garrett Jones continues his tear.
Saltalamacchia takes outside. Milwaukee's bullpen is busy. It feels like the Marlins have done more damage than they actually have.
So all of a sudden, though, you also get the feel that being down 5 runs doesn't seem that bad with the way the ball's jumping tonight.
Well, as long as Estrada's in the game, apparently, because he's been aggressive around the plate. He has not walked anybody, and Miami has clobbered 4 homers. So Saltalamacchia fouls it back.
I don't know how his line is going to be when he leaves the game. But I'm going to go out on a limb and say, so far a pitcher's never gone this far in a game and given up 4 hits and 4 runs, and all 4 hits were solo home runs. All right, the text is on its way to our insider at Hit Tracker.
Strike 3 called. Saltalamacchia had tossed the bat and isn't happy with Marvin Hudson. Saltalamacchia not happy. The pitch didn't look all that bad on the replay, and you can see on Fox Tracks, at the knees, but it looks almost out. Here's Ozuna. Now Ozuna has lined to deep center. His, had he been able to pull it at that distance, would have been out. He hit it about 410 feet to straightaway center. He's also flied to left. And a scorching ground ball finds left field. And amazingly, Miami has a hit that's not a home run.
They get their first non-home run base hit. And I think we have our answer, Rich. We talked about at the beginning of the game. Many people ask us when they come into Marlins Park about how does the ball carry, with the roof closed, with the roof open. I think our answer, it's jumping tonight, and it's open.
I think the other things you have to factor into it. And Rick Kranitz is back. Cranny, the pitching coach of the Brewers. Two things you have to factor into that as well, Tommy. Warm night and a still night. No wind coming off the ocean in through left field, because we've seen nights with the roof open and the rolling windows open with a wind coming into left field that actually holds balls up.
That knocks the ball down, yeah. That's a good point.
So after the hit by Ozuna, 2 outs here in the 7th. And here's Jeff Baker pinch hitting. And Estrada throws a changeup, and it's 1-0. 9 runs on 12 hits for Milwaukee. And the Brewers have hit 3 home runs. 4 runs on 5 hits for Miami. The Marlins have hit 4 home runs. Stanton 2, Jones 2. Mark Reynolds has hit 2 for Milwaukee. Chris Davis has hit the other. The difference is the Brewers have done a ton more damage.
A lot of other extra base hits.
Carlos Gomez has 3 doubles. Jonathan Lucroy a double. Scooter Gennett a triple. Milwaukee has 12 hits overall. Baker takes a strike. Counts 1-2.
It's one of those matchups for Jeff Baker. You don't know maybe why, there's a reason, but in his career, over 100 at bats against Milwaukee and a .368 career average against the Milwaukee Brewers.
A lot of Central Division matchups while a Chicago Cub. Counts full now, 3-2.
Right now, Estrada's at the point where it doesn't appear he has the same command of his changeup that he did earlier.
So if he thinks he can still throw one for a strike, this is a good time to do it.
This would be the time to do it. He would have earlier in the game.
Fastball, ground ball, base hit center field. Ozuna's on his way to third. Gomez picks it up. Baker crashes and burns across first base, but climbs back on the bag. And we'll see if that's it for Estrada, and Milwaukee gets into their bullpen here.
Well, it does go back to the fact that he probably doesn't have the same feel and command for that changeup, so he did throw the fastball. Baker, who was 1 for 3 in the game yesterday, gets himself a pinch hit.
Lucas is the hitter. Ron Renicky is out. He does have a pitcher warming up. It's much easier to see into the bullpen here as it is compared to Atlanta. 9-4. We step aside.
He's trying to rally back in this one here, bottom of the 7th. We mentioned tomorrow, fun day here at the ballpark with the Brewers here for Game 2. All-you-can-eat seats, and it's Cuban Heritage Night. There'll be a pregame salsa band. Fans are encouraged to bring festive musical instruments, and if you buy a ticket in that Cuban Heritage section, you get this great Marlins hat in the Cuban colors of red and blue with the Miami logo. A lot of fun tomorrow night, plus a post-game concert as well featuring Cuban music. All coming at you tomorrow. Remember, at afternoon start time, 3:30 airtime, ball game just after 4 o'clock, guys.
All right, thank you. That's right. Special start time tomorrow, 4:10 start. Brandon Kinsler in for Milwaukee. Ed Lucas against Kinsler. Marlins still have a ways to go. They're down 5. And Kinsler pours in a strike.
Kinsler, pretty good stuff. He's aggressive with his fastball.
Bullpen for the Brewers with a 3.21 ERA has been pretty solid.
They'll see a little livelier heat from Kinsler compared to what they saw from Estrada.
Kinsler spent some time on the disabled list this year. He falls behind. They count 2-1. Zach Duke, who tried his best to get in the game last night, is warming up. Former Pirate. Lucas sprays a ground ball to his left as Jeanette bobbles it, and everybody is safe. A run scores, and Miami is within 4 now.
Well, a good job and a base hit by Ed Lucas. They backed, didn't try to do too much. It would have taken a above average play by Jeanette to catch the ball, turn, and throw out Lucas because he was 5 or 6 steps into right field.
Well, here's Yelich. We've seen a lot of crazy things tonight. We've seen a lot of balls go a long ways. And so Miami has the tying run on deck. 2 outs here in the 7th. And Yelich takes down low. Yelich on an 0 for 3 night. The game winner last night was his only hit of the ball game, yesterday I should say. And the night before on Wednesday he had 3 hits including a triple. He's going to get a 2-0 pitch to look at here.
More than likely a fastball because that's what Kinsler features.
Dietrich on deck. Yelich ground ball in the hole at short. Segura loads up. Out at first. Close play. Bang bang. But Yelich is out. Miami gets a little closer, but still a ways to go. Redmond is on his way out. And Michael Redmond has to get out when it's the 3rd out of the inning. The manager has to get out within 10 seconds of the call to start the process. I think he's out. And
he's getting that sign from Rob Leary on the bench.
Yep.
It's a good play by Segura. Good strong arm. He knew he had to unload to get Christian Yelich. You know what? Chicks will like this one. We're going to show Mark Reynolds. He's hit 2 tonight. There's his first one. Number 212 in his career. There's number 213 off the bat of Reynolds. Chris Davis also homered for the Brewers. He crushed it into the Budweiser balcony bar. Stanton hit one earlier. This was his second of the game for Giancarlo, number 14 on the year up on the promenade. And second one of the night for Garrett Jones. So chicks love the long ball. They love that segment.
Chris Hatcher into the ball game for the Marlins. Hatcher takes over for Brad Hand. Hatcher just recalled. And Hatcher, the former catcher, hard thrower.
He's at a point, Rich, where Chris Hatcher has had his opportunities up and down 2 or 3 times. There was numbers at New Orleans where he's always posted good numbers in AAA. He's at that point in his career where he's pitched long enough now after having been a catcher for the early part of his career. He's got to make that turn in the right direction. And for him, it's always been developing that secondary pitch, that slider or splitter. Because he has a terrific fastball.
Miami has hit 4 homers, but trails in this game 9-5. The Brewers have hit 3. 7 home runs in a game is a record for the most ever in Marlins Park. Logan Schaefer swings and misses. Schaefer spent his first full season in the big leagues last year. No Ryan Braun tonight. Sore right side. Aramis Ramirez on the DL. Doesn't seem to matter for the Brewers. Lucas out there at short. Short hop throw. Jones bails him out. There's one out here in the 8th. Pick up a Pepsi 4 for $50 4-pack. Dive in on Family Sunday. That's coming up to finish this homestand and series. 1:10 start on Sunday against the Brewers. First 5,000 kids get a pair of Giancarlo Stanton batting gloves, courtesy of Fox Sports Florida. And all kids run the bases after the game in the Diamond Dash. Go to Marlins.com for tickets.
Guy that we've seen a lot of over the years out of Lake Brantley High School, Ricky Weeks.
Weeks, who has, as you pointed out, seen his playing time diminish with Scooter Gennett having a very solid year. Weeks himself is putting up pretty good numbers. A .317 average. And that certainly is up from last year when he hit just .209.
Boy, it was a tough year for Ricky Weeks last year.
Hamstring surgery in August cut his season short.
He's had a lot of injuries, wrist injuries, thumb, oblique, knee. You look at his numbers over the last few years. 2010 really his last big year. 29 home runs, 83 RBIs.
Hatcher behind in the count. And it's 3-1. Brad had 2 innings, 2 runs, 3 hits. Struck out 3. Tom Kohler 5 innings, 7 runs, 9 hits. Marco Estrada threw 100 pitches, 6 2/3. He gave up 4 homers, but they were all solo shots. 5 runs total, no walks, and 7 strikeouts. And Weeks walks. Up to Gene Segura now in the leadoff spot. Will Smith, who was the lefty who ended up pitching last night,
he's going to get a few more opportunities, a few more pitches to throw to get ready tonight.
The oddity last night for Smith is that as Ron Renicky summoned a lefty from the bullpen and he wanted Smith Liner to center. Ozuna's there and he makes the catch. There was no one warming up, so whoever came in was limited to just the 8 warm-up pitches. Duke entered, and then Smith went out. But then the challenge, or I guess the video review to see and clarify the rule, Smith came out and threw his 8 warm-up pitches and then stood around for 10 minutes while, excuse me, not 10 minutes, but 3 to 5 minutes. How's that?
Seemed like 10 minutes.
It did. So he got to throw 8 pitches, and that's it. And during the delay for the review, he couldn't throw any more. Now, normally, a pitcher during a review can throw as many as he wants.
If he's been in the game.
Right. And so he gives up the hit to Domit, and then on a ground ball, there was another review. So he got to warm up completely during that next review. But he couldn't throw a pitch after he threw 8 during the first substitution review. Jeanette, RBI triple, sac fly.
I think the improved pitch for Chris Hatcher is that split. Seen him throw it a few times this inning.
Strike. Marlins have Dietrich, Stanton, and McGee coming up. Stanton has hit 2 homers tonight.
Not going to want to miss those at bats.
But Miami is down 4. .410 start tomorrow. And that's Jacob Turner, who will try to slow down the Milwaukee Brewers express right now. Willie Peralta, who's pitched real well this year, an ERA of 2.18 and a 4-3 record. 2-2.
Yeah, it's a little bit of an oddity with the 4 o'clock start, and then Sunday 1 o'clock start, and then on to Washington, D.C. for an afternoon game on Memorial Day.
So the routines will be disrupted for the next 3 days. Players get so accustomed to playing night games. Late afternoon tomorrow, and then afternoon games Tuesday and Wednesday in Washington, D.C. It's back to night games after the holiday on Monday. And I would expect on Memorial Day, Washington, D.C., and rightfully so, will be quite crowded. Jeanette, big smile. It's tough to hit a ball that far, that foul. But he did. I mean, he yanked it up into the very upper reaches. Two coming. There's a drive, left center field. Ozuna tracking it, makes the catch, and Hatcher a scoreless 8. Well, 2 innings left. Who knows what can happen here? Stanton coming up. He's hit 2 tonight. Foul ball by Jeanette. Ricky Weeks was at second base. Here's how he got there. Watch Chris Hatcher. A balk was actually called.
Yeah, second base umpire was the one who called the balk.
That was Doug Eddings.
And so because of that, Weeks almost hit on to second base.
Hatcher did not give up any argument. In fact, Hatcher looked at Eddings and kind of nodded his head in agreement.
Again, in between a quick pitch and maybe a little movement with his hands.
This is one of the stranger games you'll see tonight here in Miami. Will Smith comes out. Smith played the big part of the bullpen gate last night for the Brewers in the loss in Atlanta. Here tonight, a Marlins Park record 7 home runs have been hit, and Miami has hit 4 of them, but all 4 are solo shots. Giancarlo Stanton's hit 2. Garrett Jones has hit 2. The Brewers have hit 3 home runs. So Miami finds itself down by 4 and only 2 innings left. Dietrich takes a fastball in. Then you've got Stanton. Then you've got McGee.
Will Smith has put up some pretty good numbers for Ron Renicky this year. 31 strikeouts in 21 2/3 innings. Minuscule ERA. Good live fastball, curveball.
Two and one coming to Miami's second baseman, young Derek Dietrich. Breaking ball, Dietrich stays on it and fights it off. I told you that the Brewers have not had a great road trip so far. They've won just 2 games and lost 5 on this trip. They lost 2 of 3 to the Cubs, 3 of 4 to Atlanta, but they've played well on the road. They're a first place team. 14 and 10 on the road. Dietrich back up the middle into center field, and a base hit and a base runner for Stanton.
And by the way, with the left-hander against Dietrich, the infield didn't have that shift on. Here's a look at what Stanton's done so far tonight. Straight away center field off the batter's eye, and then deep to left field over the Clevelander.
So Stanton climbs in, 2 home runs, 14 on the season. And Smith goes over to first.
Stanton in search of that first 3-homer game of his career.
Well, if he gets it, it'll be the first one hit all season long against Smith. And this is his 26th appearance. See what he gets. 1-0. Breaking ball low. And it's 2-0. Casey McGee. And then you've got Garrett Jones. And the switch hitting catcher, Saltalamacchia. That's a strike. Barely. But it was on the black. Dietrich at first. Miami down 4 here in the 8th. Count evens at 2-2.
You know, I'm sure it's been done in a 3-homer game, but Stanton certainly has the ability, because he's hit 1 to center, 1 to left, and he certainly has the ability to hit 1 to right.
Especially on a pitch like that, a fastball that was running away from him.
That first strike too, that was just on the outside part.
Two. Breaking ball, fly ball. He got under that one.
Boy, he just missed it.
Chris Davis is there and he makes the catch. So an out here in the 8th, and now McGee comes up. The other teams in the National League East, Miami came into play 2nd place. The Atlanta Braves in 1st, and Atlanta tied 2-2 with Colorado in the bottom of the 6th. Rob Wooten, who has had a really nice year for the Brewers, in their bullpen.
You're right about their bullpen, and Francisco Rodriguez closing. K-Rod off to a tremendous start.
McGee an 0 for 3, a couple ground outs and a strikeout.
He'd like to do a little damage against his former team.
He had a big year in 09 with Milwaukee. Had 38 doubles, 23 homers. He slugged .499. Was on base at a .360 clip. And he drove in 104 runs. Counts 2-0. Nationals down 4-1 to the Pirates in the 8th. Phillies are losing at home to the Dodgers 2-0. They've resumed that game, bottom of the 6th. Mets down 2-0 in New York. That game's delayed in the 4th. Arizona on top. McGee. Fighting off that fastball. Counts 2-1. In, and it's 3-1. Now Jones is on deck. He's homered in his last 2 at bats, though those home runs came against Marco Estrada, the right-hander. Got a lefty on the mound here in Will Smith. 3-1 coming. McGee a chopper to 3rd. Reynolds gets an out there and safe at 1st. And here is the damage done by Garrett Jones tonight.
And from our official hit tracker source, 431 on the first one of Garrett Jones and 374 down the line on that second one.
So that first estimate did come in high at the body shop.
Yes,
460.
He'd take the 431.
Jones takes a pitch in the dirt. So if you've got more numbers, let's roll through them. Jones 431 and 474
on the Chris Davis home run. 448.
Okay. And how about Stanton's second one?
444 on the second home run.
How about his first one? Do we have his first one?
That one hasn't come through yet.
Still crunching the numbers. Of course, we'll get the distance on Reynolds' 2 homers. Well, I think Reynolds probably was a bit behind.
Just came through.
No, it did.
Stanton's 440.
Wow, so Stanton hit a 440-footer to straightaway center and a 444-footer to left center. Garrett Jones 431 and 374, and yet Miami is losing 95. So it doesn't mean a hill of beans right now.
All compliments of our good friend David Bierman at Hit Tracker.
Marvin Hudson, the home plate umpire, stepped back as if to call it a strike, and that right arm just didn't fire. Now it's 3-1, and that's the reason why it was out. Lucroy turns around and wants to check the count, because I think Lucroy thought he called it a strike.
He felt his right arm go up.
So the count is 3-1. Jones fouls it off. Garrett Jones on this homestand now. 8 hits in 12 at-bats. He's driven in 6. He has 3 doubles and 2 homers. This is only the 4th game of the homestand. Breaking ball lays off of it. Not a swing and not a strike. Boy, that was a close pitch.
That's a good job too by Garrett Jones to lay off that pitch. It's a real tough one to not offer it. And it's off the plate. It's not a strike. The question was, did he swing?
Saltalamacchia now with 2 outs. I think that was a swing, and that is a strike.
Well, for Jared Saltalamacchia this year, just 36 at bats from this side of the plate. All 6 of his home runs have come as a left-handed hitter.
Finds himself behind the count 0-2. A.J. Ramos casually loosening up. Pitcher spot 2 hitters away. Saltalamacchia strikes out. 3 strikeouts for Salty on the night. Marlins leave a couple. Still 9-5. too late to download the MLB.com at the ballpark mobile app. Great features throughout the year. Check in through the app and earn free tickets. Download the free MLB.com at the ballpark app today. Chris Hatcher is still out there. The Marlins would prefer that he not be. They would have rather pinch hit for him. But his spot didn't come up. The Marlins left those 2 runners, and so Hatcher will continue.
Well, that's one of the things he did in AAA numerous times. He pitched more than just the 1 inning, and I think more pitchers that are working out of bullpens in the minor leagues should do that. And they might learn how to pitch a little bit as opposed to just coming in max effort 1 inning. So because of utilizing Hatcher a little more than 1 inning, he had opportunity to work on that splitter, work on his command.
Starts Lucroy out with a strike. 2 for 4 is Jonathan Lucroy, including a double. Milwaukee has a dozen hits, 9 runs. And they've done damage tonight, big damage, with the extra base hits. Gomez has 3 doubles, 2 have knocked in runs. Reynolds has 2 homers, both were 2-run shots. Chris Davis a solo homer. Scooter Gennett an RBI triple and a sac fly. And of course, none of this was done with Ryan Braun in the lineup, and Ramos Ramirez, I think, is still in Milwaukee. He's on the disabled list. That would be strike 3. Lucroy knew it. He was walking to the dugout before it crossed the plate.
Yeah, good pitch. Good job by Chris Hatcher. Hey, you'd like to see Hatcher get the opportunity, which he's going to. There are positions open in the bullpen, trust me. So you'd like to see somebody that gets that opportunity to say, okay, I'm the guy.
Gomez. Hatcher misses away. Gomez with the 3 doubles, and all of them have been very well hit. That one is a little nubber. Dietrich has it, stays on his feet, and throws wildly. But Saltalamacchia and Hatcher. Nice try by Dietrich. Gomez runs well, and so Derek's only shot was to wheel and just fire it as quickly as he could.
Should be a base hit all the way. It is. So after 3 doubles, Gomez gets tied up, gets jammed, rolls one into that shallow area of right field. Good effort by Dietrich, but he wasn't going to get it.
Here's Reynolds, who has cranked a couple out, and both have been no doubters. The fear for the Brewers with Braun is that he's re-aggravated that rib cage strain that put him on the 15-day disabled list earlier this year. Ron Renicki's quote today was he sees Braun taking weirder swings than he's ever seen him take. And if he's taking bad swings, something is not all right.
Well, you try to alter your swing because of an injury like that, it just messes everything up.
But Renicki can look at the scoreboard and see 9 runs and 13 hits without Braun.
Yeah, he feels better about it now. Of course, Braun, a .312 career hitter coming into this year.
There's a strike. Here's a look at the swing yesterday that Braun aggravated the right side.
Him reaching for that pitch. And then reaching for that area that he may have tweaked a little bit.
Ninth inning, 4-run Milwaukee lead. Four-hit night for Gomez. Reynolds pulls that off-speed pitch foul. Reynolds a shortstop at Virginia. Of course, the third baseman once he got to Arizona. Let's hope they didn't have extra butter on the popcorn. Struck him out.
Good fastball, low in the strike zone, but I believe it's in the strike zone. And I think what Chris Hatcher does, because of that catcher's throwing motion, he sneaks in on guys a little bit with that fastball. Yeah, that was a strike.
It had plenty of the plate, and it was right on the knees. There's Wooten. He is still heated up. Lyle Overbay an 0 for 4. And Overbay, the only position player not to join in the fun here. Only one without a hit. Lucas gliding to his left. Was it catcher's interference? Overbay, or was it a balk call? Another balk called on Hatcher.
He's going to have to straighten that out.
Overbay never budged from home plate. I thought maybe he had made contact with the catcher. Here's another look.
I don't see a balk. He does that all the time.
Swing and a miss. Down goes Overbay. Instead of 6-3, it's a swinging strikeout. Marlins down to their last 3 outs, down by 4. Top the energy team, Tommy. Tonight we'll be hosting Marlins Live postgame, presented by Checkers. Oh, wait a minute. Actually, Craig Minervini and Preston Wilson.
Well, they heard Preston was with Craig tonight.
7 home runs. A Marlins Park record. And the Marlins have hit 4 of them, all solo shots. In front of a crowd just shy of 19,000 tonight. Out of Milwaukee's bullpen, Rob Wooten arrives. Wooten unscored upon in each of his last 10 appearances. And an ERA at 2.84. Miami's got Marcell Ozuna. Reed Johnson is in the on-deck circle. That's the pitcher's spot. And then you've got Ed Lucas.
And I think you can feel good about the 2 innings that Chris Hatcher gave the ball club tonight.
Pitch misses outside. You can add Nolan Arenado's name to the number of players that has broken a finger sliding head first. Arenado suffered a mallet fracture in his left middle finger. There's a bouncer to short. Kicked. Segura safe at first. Well, he kicked it and then he threw it wide and it drew Overbay off the bag, and the Marlins have some life here. They do have a long way to go, but at least they have Ozuna aboard on an E6.
They have to get it started. 6 errors on the year for Segura. What he did once he booted the ball, he tried to hurry that throw, and the throw then pulled Overbay off the bag.
Here is Reed Johnson. So Arenado left the game tonight in Atlanta, a mallet fracture in his left middle finger. I believe that's the same injury that Marco Scudero suffered getting hit by a pitch, and was able to play through it last year, but not real well. It affected his swing.
Well, the Marlins got a pinch hit single from Jeff Baker back in the 7th inning. They're looking for a little bit of the same from Reed Johnson, who is the club's leading pinch hitter.
He had a pinch hit yesterday in the game against the Phillies. There's a bouncer up the middle, diving stop. Segura out there, safe at first. Terrific play by Segura.
Well, he made up for the error with that play. Tell you what, Reed Johnson, even the at-bats that he doesn't get a base hit when he pinch hits, he's hit the ball hard. That one almost finds a hole, but a great play by Segura. No chance for a double play, but the Brewers get the out.
Now Lucas. The objective for Miami is to try to get Stanton to the plate. After Lucas, you've got Yelich, then Dietrich, then Stanton. Strike on the outside corner. Let's head out to center field. Craig Minervini. Craig. Ball and a strike and an out. Lucas takes away. Lucas shoots it foul. Count even at 2-2. Okay, Yelich up next. It seems like this ball game is due for a home run because
it's been a while.
We've seen so many, and it has been a while. Lucas, after a high fastball, swings and misses. Now let's head out to center field. Craig Minervini. Craig?
Yeah, thank you very much, Rich. Hey, tomorrow on Marlins Live, very special. We're going to have that Live Like Bella story featuring Allison Williams with Jose Fernandez. And Jose Fernandez is going to come right up here live and join Preston and myself. We'll talk a little bit about the injury, his recovery, the ball club, his thoughts, all that live. Very special tomorrow. Jose Fernandez with us on the set as we get ready for Game 2 of the series. 3:30 airtime, ball game just after 4 o'clock.
We look forward to that. Special start time tomorrow night. 3:30 Marlins Live, 4 o'clock, first game. The first pitch of the ball game. YELICH. And a breaking ball is a strike to YELICH. Tonight, an 0 for 4 night for YELICH. May has been a bit of an up and down month for YELICH. He's had a surge in power in terms of home runs. He now has 5.
Yeah, if you remember, he homered in San Diego. He hit one out in Los Angeles, and he homered in San Francisco.
Fouls that pitch back. Ball and 2 strikes and 2 outs. Didn't go. 2-2. Bouncer finds SEGURA at short, and his throw is accurate, and this ball game belongs to the Brewers. Milwaukee captures game 1 of the series, and they do it with a long ball, a couple off the bat of Mark Reynolds. They survive 4 homers by the Marlins, and at a night where the Brewers don't have Ryan Braun, Ron Renneke and his first place Brewers pick up win number 29 on the season. They're now 9 over 500 at 29 and 20. The Fish fall to 25 and 24.